I'm scared, you guys. I'm really scared. I'm scared because BlizzCon is coming up in November and not enough people are talking about this. So I'm asking for something ridiculous. I'm gonna ask for like 500 likes on this video. I want 500 likes on this video. And you know what, you guys? If you don't dust off your little Cheeto fingers and you suck your fingers dry and you reach over with your little crusty mouse and you press that thumbs up button, if you don't do that, I'm gonna quit YouTube. If I don't get 500 likes on this video, I'm gonna quit YouTube. So a couple days ago, Tosan released a PvP, how to make PvP great again video. So shout out to Tosan. I'll put a link to his video in the description below. And he was touching on the topic of solo queue. Now, a couple weeks ago, Savix came into my stream and many of you guys have been asking me about this on my stream as well. And it's something that I've been talking about on my channel for a long time, especially in all the podcasts that I work really hard on that none of you guys ever watch. You can see them all over the screen here. And again, Savix asked me to make this rant video and I think it's time I do it. So I thought, what a better time to do it. I got my coffee here. Tosan just released a video touching on a lot of things that I think are really important regarding solo queue, but I do believe he missed out on some key points that I just want to add on to. So in this video, I will not strictly be talking about solo queue. I'll be talking about a lot more. Now, I do not have a fancy whiteboard and an 0-3 CU t-shirt on, but I think I can make some fair points, and I'm really serious about this, you guys. I'm scared, you guys. I'm actually scared. I'm scared because BlizzCon is coming up in November, and not enough people are talking about this. We have an incredible opportunity right now to make these types of videos go viral. I want you to tweet these out right as you watch this video to the guy with the Jerry curls, Josh Allen, to offer our insight and what needs to be changed. They are going to announce a new expansion this November at BlizzCon. Ass of Ashara, I don't care what it's called. It's a monumental moment for the health of World of Warcraft PvP. So what's wrong with PvP? Well, there's a lot of things wrong with PvP. Now, one of them would be solo queue. The LFG system is absolute ass. I spend most of my time sitting around there looking for partners. People are linking me different achievements, fake achievements, achievements from 5 years ago. But in what game out there do people ask you, what rating were you 6 months ago? What rating were you 4 months ago? You don't seem to have a 2.2k achievement from season 2, so you must not be very good. No game does that. There's no game that does that. People would want to know what your current CR is. You are matched based on your current MMR with other players. You play with people at your current skill level. Doesn't matter what you were 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, 2 years ago, 7 years ago. No one cares about that. It's completely irrelevant, and it is a massive issue with the current LFG system. Now, this is an idea that I touched on this podcast over here somewhere on the screen, but Tosan said in his video, think of one game where you cannot just hop right in and play, where there's not a matchmaking system. There is none. There is no game. World of Warcraft is the only game where you actually can't even play sometimes because you can't find partners. You spend more time waiting than you even do playing, and that is a massive issue. Now, the reason why you're hearing this from a lot of top players is because they're tired of sitting around and waiting. They just want to play. It's great for content creators that can just hop in and stream the game, make videos. You cannot make content for a game that you simply cannot play. But for the lower level guy, the guy hanging around at 1400 MMR, the multi 1400 who wants his 100 wins for 3v3 so he can get that mount, it's not as hard to find partners. You can just play. I'm sure they deal with a lot of like discrimination, a lot of backlash based on their experience in CR. So that's a massive issue. People cannot even play the game, and it's actually so frustrating. I want to play. Sometimes I sit around in LFG my entire night and I have no one to play with. I don't know what to do. I'm riding my Kodo doing 360s off the bank in Orgrimmar, bored out of my mind. And who wants to do random BGs anymore? And we'll get to that in a second. Hold on, Mom. I said hold on. I said hold on. Calm down. Now, a lot of people that are against the solo queue thing, they say, well, it's not going to be balanced. It's not balanced at all anyway, and if anything, at least it will get rid of this consistent meta thing where people pick and choose their partners. Like, oh, you got nerfed by 5%? I don't want to play with you. I'm going to choose Frosty Case for 7.3. What if you're like an amazing Fury Warrior, but you never get to play with anyone, but you're actually at 2200 as a Fury Warrior, but they don't want to take you like, I'd rather play with Arms, bro, sorry. People should not be able to pick and choose their classes. They should simply be able to play based on what their current ranking is and how good they are at their specific class, not what type, what spec they are. And yes, I guess you could say that if DHs are doing really well and Warriors are doing really well, then maybe they'll climb the ladder, they'll climb MMR, and you may see them grouped up more often, but it still gets rid of this pick and choose mentality and facing the same comps over and over and over and over again. You might get some bad comps, you might get some great comps, but that's every game, right? If you play League of Legends, you might get 2 jungles and you're like, well, fuck me. But everyone watching this video is already involved somewhat in the PvP community. Even the fuckheads who go to Cedar's chat and go, wow, in 2017, lol, dead game, bro, dead game, bro. Or they're watching the arena regional tournaments and they're saying, wow, PvP is dead. You guys are a bunch of donks, a bunch of mouth breathers. I don't know what's worse, the fact that PvP is slowly dying out or the fact that you're watching the game and then stating that it's dead. What a waste of time that is. If the game is dead, why are you watching it? But I don't blame all the mouth breathers out there who say that, because you know what? It's true, and we've done it to ourselves. This community has done it to ourselves. Blizzard has created an environment that does not support PvP, but obviously it wasn't intentional. But now is the time. Again, now is the time. So in the middle of this video, I want you to smash that like button 1,000 times. I want you to share this video, comment in the comment section below. Do not be a peon, be a pog champ, and share this video. I'm sweating right now. I just scared Siri. Gotta calm down. Tosin also touched on the idea of dueling. Now, dueling was a massive thing back in the day. I played during vanilla and VC, and I love to duel. Now, I don't know if I completely agree with the whole idea of making this Coliseum where you can watch people duel. It's not that I'm hating on the idea. I love the idea. I just don't think it's really 100% realistic. Have like a solo queue system where you queue up and you duel people, and it also seems like really time consuming. Like you'd have to wait there for a while. In my opinion, just bring back Duratar, Stormwind dueling, fix those stat templates. I don't care what they say. It's been a year now, and they're saying they're worried about exploiting with, you know, PvP stat templates. They can duel each other next to little questing zones. It's been almost a year now. I'm sick of this whole idea of legendaries and these weird shields that I have to get through every 8 seconds. It's too much. Dueling used to be like an MMR system. Like I would duel somebody or I'd watch them duel people. I'm like, wow, he knows how to fake cast. He has good positioning. He knows how to line of sight. These were huge things, but now line of sight doesn't even exist. It doesn't even exist in Duratar anymore. I used to run around pillars and I can't even do that anymore. Duratar dueling brings all players from different areas to come hang out. PvE players, PvP players. It's a great place to go inspect people. It's a great place to go hang out and be goofy. And even if they don't go with the Coliseum idea, at least fix war games where I can war game people from across servers. Like just right click on the name of my buddies list and press war game. That's like one button. We can challenge each other to a 1v1 war game, a 2v2 war game, a 3v3 war game. I think that'd be great. You can just war game 1v1, duel inside different arenas, get a sense of the arena. It would help you in your gameplay inside the arena. And then being able to spectate arenas would be huge. Why can't we spectate arenas? Just add a delay. You have that in all of your other games. Just allow me to spectate. But I have my piece of paper here that I ripped out of my binder, and I think there's a lot of key points that he did not touch on, and I will touch on them in this video. I think I just broke my flash drive. The biggest point on this piece of paper is incentives, you guys. World of Warcraft PvP has the shittiest incentives, and for the longest time, it has had some of the worst incentives out of any game I've ever played. Think about it this way. It's like when you go to work, right? You may love your job. You may love being a little college counselor. You may love being a garbage man. You may love being a plumber and just plumbing poop all fucking day. But after a while, if you're not getting paid for your job or it's just really shitty pay, you're probably over it. You get burnt out unless you're like a porn star. For the longest time, World of Warcraft has had some of the worst incentive systems, reward systems for PvP that I've ever seen, and I think in this expansion it is the absolute worst. And with other games coming along like League of Legends, Overwatch, Dota 2, Counter-Strike, their incentive systems, in my opinion, are much more rewarding, and I'll get to that in a second. But even if they're not, right, you're just getting a ranking. It's not as rewarding as getting gear and loot. That's all there is to do in that game. That's all there is. They're not competing with themselves. They're saying, this is our game. It's just strictly PvP based. There's some weird little mini games that you can do, but it's all about the PvP. World of Warcraft is not all about the PvP. There's other things that you can do in that game. You can go raid. You can do your stupid little pet battles and fight each other with little cats and stuff. There's a solo queue trial of style that they just implemented. You can dance naked in Dalaran if that's what you're into. So why in the world would you go do PvP when the incentive system is not rewarding to the lower level players? I think that's the big misconception with a lot of high-end players. Oh, I got my little rank 1 title here. What about the little guy out there? What about the guy who's never been over 1600? What about the guy who's never been over 1700? What about the guy who only dreams of getting 2K? There's no reason for him to play the game. He just gets dumped on by double DH and he's over it. What about him? People have this misconception that it's about from the top down and not the bottom up. You get it. It's not about the top end players. It's about the mass majority of players. In League of Legends, it's all about the bronze, the silver, even the gold. It's not about the challenger players. It's not about the rank 1 players. The rank 1 players are there because people are watching the rank 1 players. Rank 1 players don't come and then people watch. People come to the game to play the game because it's fun. There's money involved then. There's sponsorships involved. There's attention. There's hype around the game. Then players start to flock the game. Highly skilled players start to put their intention and effort into that video game. So you have to keep the lower level players engaged you have to keep them interested. And the way you do that is through incentives. But what incentives are there really? Now, before in the past, we used to have like a rating system where you could unlock pieces of gear, and every week you'd know, oh, I got this much rating, I can buy this, or every day you got this much rating and you can buy this. But if I get 100 more arena rating, then I can unlock this piece of gear. So there was some incentive there. But now they've taken that away and you randomly get gear. Like you might get gear today, you might not get any for the next 3 days. Maybe your friend, your homeboy gets like 6 pieces of gear, but it's the same necklace that you don't even want. And then you can reforge like 15 fucking items so you can get a new piece of gear, and then it rolls lower than the current piece of gear that you have. Now you don't even have to get 10 wins. They made it like 1500 honor or whatever that means. So you can like essentially just throw like 15 games in a row. And I see a lot of players doing that when I'm playing with my subscribers and my friends. We're doing twos, just messing around. People just run in the arena and then just stand there like dummies. They don't care. They just want to lose because they just want their gear. There's no incentive. And the only thing that they even have is this like 100 win 3v3 thing where you get this mount that's the same mount that they've had for multiple seasons. And then they add like one mount once in a while. They're supposed to add this fox. I don't know what the fuck happened to that thing. So there's no reason to push rating. You're just there to collect what you can and dip out. Now I know you're going to say, well, you might be able to get better gear if you have a high arena rating, but it's not worth it for the average player if they can go do a mythic, if they can go do a raid. So yes, I would absolutely love solo queue. And yes, solo queue will easily fix a lot of the participation issues, but incentives are also equally important. I have to wait months to figure out if I got like enough rating to get this title, which then gives me a mount, which is like a reskinned mount that they reuse multiple seasons in a row with just different color schemes. Like whose idea was that mount? That thing is hideous. And you reuse that mount, that Land Troll Cyclops S Michael Hogman looking land mount. It doesn't even fly. And you reuse that? Put some effort into it. I don't care what you have to do. Make it a dragon that when you press spacebar, it doesn't do the same animation over and over again. Make it do something else. You've been using that since vanilla. I don't care if you press spacebar and it shoots icicles out of its butthole. I don't care what it does, but make it unique. And what's worse, you have to wait 2 weeks till the end of the season, and on the last day of the season, you have to stay up till 5 in the morning when your eyes are bleeding, and you keep refreshing this page to make sure that you're in the bracket, because they don't tell you directly in the video game, and they still haven't implemented that, and you have to go on their website, on their arena ladder board to see if it's been updated, and they say they update it every day, but they actually don't. That means Josh Allen lied to me again. And why is everything percentage based? They don't use that in any other competitive game. It's so dated. And by doing that, it's even less of an incentive to participate. Why do I want to do it? I don't know if I'm going to get it. I don't know where I'm currently at, and there's no reason to really push until the end of the season. And on top of that, there's no decay system. So when you get to where you're at, you can just chill there for a while. Oh, I played on the first day. I played double warrior with Bajira, and I got 2600 right away because I was one-shotting people with Mortal Strike. So what they need to do is they need to take away this percentage-based system. I understand like rank 1's having percentage-based like every other game where they have like a challenger or top 500. When you're in this certain placement, then you get this certain title. I agree with that. And that way, all the little rank 1s like sit on their high horse, and they like to have their little gladiator titles. They can sit there and they can just jack each other off all day. I get that. You guys can keep that. But for everyone else, there should be definite placements. Every game has definite placements. If you get to 1800, you're in silver. If you get to 2K, you're in gold. If you get to 2200, you're in plat. If you get to 2400, you're in diamond. It should be like that. Every other game is like that. And when you get there, it should give you like a reward around your name, like an actual border, not that stupid prestige clay animation that looks like doo-doo, like an actual cool border where it's like diamond. It has diamonds all around your name and it looks like every other game. And that makes PvE players look at that and be like, wow, I really want that. So having a familiar system that every game uses, I think is a win-win situation. And please, let's stop using these lame names like Rival, Challenger, Duelist. It's a super lame title that everyone makes fun of you for. But if you're bronze, or you're silver, or you're gold, or you're plat, it's very familiar to other players. And again, it's incremental work that you achieve once you get there. Like in Overwatch, if you've climbed 500 SR, your icon changes from platinum to diamond, and it's familiar to players. It's rewarding for players. And I mean, come on, how many more adjectives can you guys come up with Gladiator? Just make it master. I really like Vindictive Gladiator. I really like my Cruel Gladiator. I really like my Fearless Gladiator. But we're down to Ferocious. We just had Wild Gladiator last expansion. What's next? Ridiculous Gladiator? Scrumdiddlyumptious Gladiator? Boontastic Gladiator? I mean, come on. They're getting old now. And that way you don't have to worry about titles, right? Like you can be Master in 2s, you can be Diamond in 3s, you can be Plat in RBGs, and you can have different rankings. So what is my suggestion? I think every 100 points should have its own unique reward. 1600 gives you a new enchant on your weapon. 1700 gives you this new mount that is not a reskinned mount from something else. 1800 gives you a cool transmog set. 1900 gives you this. Give consistent rewards, and for each bracket, for 2s and 3s and RBGs, give unique rewards, like something that's different than 2s and different than 3s and different than RBGs. So along the way, you're always trying to push into that next bracket, and then they reward you with little rewards along the way, cool rewards that you cannot get anywhere else, like things that attract PvE players. Like, what are the incentives to do 2v2s? They take fucking forever. They're the longest games ever unless you play double DPS, and they're still not balanced and extremely boring. I don't think they should be any less or worse, like ranked 3v3 should have the best incentives. No, that just means people do not want to participate in the other brackets, but they should be unique incentives, different incentives. 2v2 should have its own incentives. 3v3 should have its own incentives. Solo queue should have its own incentives. I know Tosan kind of said he thinks that the rewards for solo queue should be less than the ranked 3v3. I think they should be different but equal. Now, the last point I really want to touch on, and it's something that I discussed with Maldiva in this podcast, and I touched on it in this podcast as well, is the idea of arena. Now, Tosan said in his video, think of one game that doesn't have a solo queue system. I also want to ask you guys, think of one game that is competitive on the esports scene, in the competitive gaming scene, that is purely based on team deathmatch. There is no game that is just purely based on deathmatch. It is always based on an objective style game. It always has an objective. There's more to just killing each other. There's something that you have to do in order to win the match. And that is how games should be. Why? Because it fixes issues of balancing. Arena is never going to be balanced because it is such a controlled environment, and because there's no solo queue, people get to pick and choose their classes, so some classes get completely left out, and it's even worse than before because they have these consistent hot fixes and nerfs. I know some people like it, but I think it's actually awful because they're always nerfing classes every week, so you might be a good class this week, but then next week, you might be absolute ass. But in a objective style game, it's about the objective. Yes, one aspect of other games like League, Overwatch is killing other players, but you win by escorting the payload, you win by capping the points, you win by winning on resources. So maybe if your class is not the best, you're better at keeping track of the objectives, maybe you're more strategic in your approach to the game. But in Arena, if your class gets nerfed by 5%, they're like, nope, we're not playing with you anymore, I'm playing with that class. If you're a rogue and your damage has been nerfed, you still have stealth, which means you're still good at back capping points, ninjaing points, defending points. If you're a druid, you still have bear form, travel form, so you can escort things, you can get across the map easier. And from a viewer standpoint, when I went to BlizzCon last year and I was standing in front of the screens and I was watching Method play, I knew what was going on. I knew if they got a defensive, I knew if they baited out a trinket. So when a player used a trinket too early, no one reacted. When the health bar started slowly moving, everyone started losing their shit. That's because no one knows what's going on. It's too much to keep track of. It's not viewer friendly, and you're trying to attract those massive audiences that used to play World of Warcraft. But when they look at the game, it's not even the same game anymore. It looks way different. When you watch League of Legends, everyone understands when a tower goes down. When you watch Overwatch, everyone knows when they escort the payload, when they cap a point, when they're winning on resources. Everybody understands that. We need 6v6 RBGs. 10v10 is too much. It's too many people. It's too hard to get them organized. You have to get them all in Discord. Make it a solo queue system for 6v6s with redesigned maps for this style of gameplay. And it's easier to commentate on, to spectate a 6v6 match. You still get the aspect of 3v3s when people are fighting over a point. You can get new and diverse comps. You have 1v1 situations where people are trying to 1v1 for a point or trying to take a flag. You have res timers to keep track of. You have flag captures to keep track of, with an additional twist of objectives. So again, I'm scared, you guys. I'm really scared that all this information is gonna get passed on by Blizzard. So it's up to you guys. I want all of you guys right now in the chat to spam your little comments. Let me know if you agree with me. Let me know if you disagree with me. I want all of you guys to smash that thumbs up button. Do not let Blizzard miss this video. Share it on Twitter. I want you to tweet this video to Josh Allen with the Jerry curls. I want you to tweet this video to Blizzard, to everyone. Share it in other streams. I don't care what you do. You can call me the YouTube guy. You don't have to agree with me. You can share Tosan's video. You can share Savix's video. I want you to share this video and make sure it goes viral. So I'm asking for something ridiculous. I'm gonna ask for like 500 likes on this video. I want 500 likes on this video. And you know what, you guys? If you don't dust off your little Cheeto fingers and you suck your fingers dry and you reach over with your little crusty mouse and you press that thumbs up button, if you don't do that, I'm gonna quit YouTube. If I don't get 500 likes on this video, I'm gonna quit YouTube. I'm no longer gonna be making World of Warcraft content for YouTube, because that means you guys don't care and you guys can go back to watching Dalron Gaming and Michael Hogman. I'm out.